Hey, it's Jake Goslin. In this video, you are going to learn about our Broadcast Mix Mastery online course and the significant updates we're going to be making to this training here in 2021. This course is a fast-track, step-by-step guide to producing a radio-ready mix for your church's live stream. So who is this course for? It's for worship leaders who are tired of cringing at the sound of their band and their vocalists in their online mix. Been there, done that, I know what it feels like. It's for tech teams who want a cost-effective, simple, and pro-level way to mix audio for their live stream. It's also great for beginners who have no prior experience with audio software or even mixing. We are going to cover all of the fundamentals, whether that's setting up the hardware and software for the first time and routing audio. And then also we're going to walk you through the process of how audio processing works and how it works specifically within a digital audio workstation. And this is also great for experienced sound techs who have a lot of time behind a front of house mixing console, but they want a better way to produce their broadcast mix for their live stream. And I wanted to give you a clear picture of what this system will look like when you are complete. So I'm in my tech booth here. We have our broadcast mix station right behind our front of house mixing console, which is right there. What happens is all of our individual channels of audio from stage, microphones, and instruments come into this mixing console here, and then that audio is sent digitally from this console back to our Mac mini computer right here. And then this computer is running our Ableton Live project. On the left here, I can see my mixer view and session view. On the right, I can see our timeline in arrangement view. And you can see all the individual tracks of audio coming into the project. And then down here, you can see all the plugins on each track. This is our iPad app that controls the mix, so I can adjust volume in a tactile way, or of course, I could use my mouse and my trackpad to control the Ableton Live session. Then I've got headphones right here to monitor the mix. And then I have a headphone switcher that allows me to switch between the complete broadcast mix, or allows me to cue and solo individual channels. And we also have a nice talkback mic here with an infrared sensor. Lastly, we have an Elgato Stream Deck that has these quick cues to mute and unmute different microphones like the pastor mic, the vocal group, crowd mics, the band group. As you can see, we built this setup to be very minimal yet professional. Now I want to play back for you an excerpt of one of our mixes so you can hear this in action.
Free for the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Oh, we sing, we praise, praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit.
So here's what we will cover in this training. It's going to be a step-by-step guide to assembling the gear and software you'll need to multi-track record and or stream audio for worship ministry. And as I already said, we're going to cover the beginner to the advanced mixing strategies. We're going to help you save time with the Churchfront broadcast mix templates. And we're going to make sure you build the right workflow for equipping your team and setting them up for success. Here's the required gear and software that you'll need as a prerequisite for this training. First, you're gonna make sure you have a digital mixing console at your church. You probably already have a console like the Behringer X32 or M32, or you might have a newer Behringer Wing. That's one of our favorite consoles. Or you may have an Allen & Heath SQ series console, or maybe a PreSonus Studio Live console. And lastly, probably the most popular console out there is the Allen & Heath QU series of consoles. It's definitely more preferable if you can have a Wing, X32, M32, or SQ series console. But you'll still be able to apply these same concepts in this course, even if you have a PreSonus Studio Live or a Allen & Heath QU series console. The next thing you're gonna need is a computer to run your audio mixing software. In this case, it'll be Ableton Live. We do recommend using a Mac computer, and we recommend the latest M1 chip Macs from Apple. The Mac that we've been using week in and week out at our church is a base model M1 Mac Mini. And finally, you'll need Ableton Live. We recommend the standard version for that unlimited track count and all of the stock plugins that it comes with. You'll need Ableton for the actual recording and mixing process. The great thing about Ableton is you can get a free trial if you go to their website. So even before you make the investment in this software, you can actually make sure that this solution is going to work well for your situation. Why would you do multi-track recording and streaming on another computer? Or why mixing in a box or mixing in a DAW? Those are the different phrases used to describe this same process. So let's talk about the regular digital mixing console on the left here. It is great for mixing in a live venue because it has virtually no latency. You've got hardware controls for everything, and it's pretty reliable. It also doubles as your audio interface. So a lot of digital mixing consoles today, they're not just mixing consoles, but they're actually a way to convert all of your individual channels of audio on your console into a digital format that's multi-track, that your computer can receive that audio and then put it into software like Ableton Live. The beginner solution we recommend for your live stream mix is to use a combination of mix buses and matrices on your mixing console to produce a great sounding mix for your live stream. It's a quick way to get a decent mix to your video switcher or streaming software, and it doesn't really require another audio engineer on Sunday morning. Your front of house engineer can pretty much monitor and tweak that accordingly. The downside of using a mix bus or matrix built into a console is you don't have as much precision or control or the processing power that you would have if you were to do all your mixing in a separate computer. And a lot of churches then think, well, why don't we go ahead and buy a second mixing console like another X32 or another Wing specifically for our broadcast mix? In my opinion, it's kind of an expensive way to get subpar results because a mixing console is definitely great for live in the room audio, but if you're trying to process, mix, and master audio in real time so that it sounds radio ready for your online viewers, it's very limited. You just don't have as many processing tools and mixing tools. Even with a dedicated mixing console, it will still not sound as good as what can be done with a digital audio workstation like Ableton Live. So let's talk about why you would want to use a software solution. It really is the most professional and best way that you can produce a mix for church online, and it introduces a ton of just flexibility within your workflow. You can use it for both a pre-recorded service. So let's say your pre-recording services, you want to be able to tweak and edit things and mix things down in post and then publish it online. It's a quick way to be able to do that. Or if you want to be like what we do at our church, we are actually using the DAW in real time to process, mix, and master our audio for our live stream. So it all happens within milliseconds. And this gives us unlimited processing and mixing capability because we have pretty much an unlimited track count within Ableton Live, and we have pretty much unlimited plugins we can apply to all of those tracks to, add things like auto-tune to vocals or layers of compression, verbs, delays, you name it. There's just all sorts of plugins out there that the pros use to enhance the sound of their mix. And you're not able to use those plugins in a traditional mixing console, but you can in digital audio workstation software like Ableton Live. What's great about this solution too is it can easily scale and grow with your worship ministry. So maybe your Ableton Live project is going to be small, just a few channels when you get going, even if you're a vocal and a guitar and a piano, but you can scale this to being a full band with a choir and all sorts of communicator microphones and other inputs. And pretty much it has an unlimited ceiling of how big your mix project can be. It's also great because you can use stock plugins, which come with the software that come with Ableton Live, or you can pay more for third-party plugins that allow you to have even more processing power and creativity. At the end of the day, it's a better value compared to purchasing another mixing console. And if you set this up the right way and you have the right workstation in place, this can be very easy for volunteers to operate. We've been able to train someone during a rehearsal, and then they're pretty much ready when the first service comes to start mixing. Because the template, if you as a worship leader go through the training and learn the processing and mixing process, you can kind of maintain that pristine mix for your particular church. And you can train your volunteers on obviously controlling volumes and muting things and keeping the mixing process pretty simple. Or if they want, they can dive deep into this mixing process as well using our course. And finally, it's just gonna sound better than what you can create with a traditional mixing console. And if you ever wondered why mixes sound so amazing from churches like Bethel and Red Rocks and Hillsong, it's because they're using this same exact process. And it's great because for smaller churches like our churches, this scales down and it's actually very cost effective. For a computer, Ableton Live, and all the accessories, we're still looking at less than $2,000, even probably around $1,500 for the entire setup. Whereas if you're gonna go buy another X32 or a Wing, you're looking at over $2,000 to $3,000. So the best of the best use this technique, and it's very accessible budget-wise for the majority of smaller to mid-sized churches. So here's what happens when you enroll in Broadcast Mix Mastery version 2.0. You're gonna get instant lifetime access to version 1.0. So we've already created a very comprehensive course on everything. This course already exists, but we like to update things about every year, every other year, depending on how much we've improved in our own systems and processes and workflows here at Churchfront and at South Fellowship Church. And we just want to make sure that our students in worship ministry school are getting the best of our latest ideas. So it's time we need to update Broadcast Mix Mastery because we've learned a ton in the about year and a half that this course has been released. When you enroll, you'll also get access to version 2.0 of the course, and these lessons are going to be released weekly through the months of October through early December. And then you'll get access to any future updates. When you buy one of our courses at Worship Ministry School, you'll automatically get version 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and beyond. So even if you're already enrolled in version 1.0, congratulations, you'll get access to 2.0 already. You'll also get team access. So when you log into Worship Ministry School, you can add all of your team members to your account and they can access this course as well and work through the training alongside you. You also are going to get access to our Ableton Live broadcast mix templates. And this is where we can save you a ton of time. You're not going to have to build your Ableton Live project from scratch. We are going to give you our templates, the same ones we use here at South Fellowship Church. But more importantly, we're going to teach you how to use them. And the good news is that if you're watching this video before Friday, October 8th at midnight, you can get a 60% discount on the price of Broadcast Mix Mastery. Once midnight hits on Friday, October 8th, the price will increase forever. So if you want to get that discounted rate, go ahead and make sure you sign up before that date. So what's new with this training? What's new about version 2.0? Well, we're gonna update our configurations for connecting your DAW to consoles like the Wing, the X32, or the SQ series consoles. Again, these are our most favorite recommended consoles right now as of 2021. So we wanna make sure, as we're teaching people how to mix on these consoles for their front of house mix, we wanna make sure they can also optimize these consoles for their broadcast mix using this process. And we are also updating our mix templates. We have iterated and improved our template continuously here at South Fellowship Church. So we're going to continue to do that and give you access to the most recent version. We've also made significant upgrades and we've learned a ton of new things about our workstation, optimizing it for volunteers, making it easy for them to control volume and mute things and make their different cues throughout the service, as well as monitor the mix, to be able to monitor the actual broadcast mix, to be able to monitor, and solo different channels without interrupting the broadcast mix. There's a few tricks of the trade that we learned over the past year that we're going to be adding to the new course. And then we're going to have a module that's what I'm calling the Broadcast Mix Boot Camp for volunteers. So maybe you as the worship leader or tech director are going to be the one in charge of working through the entire training to set this whole thing up at your church. But maybe you want to have your volunteers go through a portion of the training that just shows them, hey, here's what it's like now that this is set up. Here's what it's going to be like to mix in a DAW on a given Sunday. I did want to say a word about templates. We are not big fans of just selling you a template. We don't do that. We always include our templates within the courses because it is way more important for you to just learn the knowledge of how all this stuff works, the routing, the processing, the mixing, the mastering process. We want you to understand that before we even give you a template. Because unfortunately, we've seen a lot of worship leaders buying templates left and right, and they're not getting the results that they want. They don't know how to work the template, even though the person who made the templates had good intentions. They didn't understand that most people don't have any training on getting a DAW up and running and mixing in a DAW. So that's why we cover these things in our courses, is because we assume you have no prior knowledge to mixing with a digital audio workstation before you hop in our training. So knowledge first, and then the templates are used to just kind of expedite the process. And in our course, in our lessons, we're going to spend a lot of time helping you know how to customize the template to your situation, knowing how to troubleshoot the template if anything comes up, and just be very familiar with the tool so that if something happens, if there's a glitch, you understand how to navigate those things, and you're going to understand how to continually improve and make iterations of your own template. Here are some testimonials of worship leaders who have already gone through our training. Here's a comment from Diane. She was talking about week 3, our processing fundamentals lesson, how it was hugely beneficial for her to get technical explanation of what each function of the processing chain is, the element and effects, and hearing the before and after of the individual tracks and hearing the whole thing put together. So she was a total beginner, right? And we want to make sure everybody understands here's what gain does, here's what noise gates and compressors and EQ does, because you can learn those things and we can teach you those things very quickly, and they're very fundamental in order to have success with your broadcast mix. And then here's Clay. Jake, this is a game changer. Got my X32 going into Ableton. I'm mixing all the inputs with effects and sending them back into the X32, and then sending out the X32 to our ATEM switcher and sending that into our streaming computer. So here Clay is alluding to the fact that in this course, we teach you how to get the audio from your mixing console into Ableton Live, and then we'll actually have you send that audio back to your mixing console to usually do that conversion back to an analog output, so then you can plug it in to a hardware video switcher. Or if you need to get that audio to streaming software like ProPresenter or Ecamm Live or OBS, we show you how to do that as well. And then here's Corey, using Ableton for the first time this morning, still dialing everything in. Thank you, Jake, for putting together the courses. Any constructive criticism is welcome. So what we do in our Worship Ministry School Facebook group is you can actually paste the link to your live stream, and then myself and other folks within the Facebook group can actually give you feedback on your mix to help you take things to the next level. And then here's Jono. So thankful for Worship Ministry School. We're able to build this studio, train the team. Now we're rolling on Sundays, and he's got a full setup for his broadcast church online suite here. It looks like his mixing engineer is on the far right there with the Ableton Live setup that we showed them how to get going. And just to give you a taste of what our learning platform looks like, here is the inside of our online course for broadcast mix mastery. On the left here, you can see all of the different lessons within the existing version of the training. And you'll be able to navigate through these lessons and mark them as complete as you go through the process. And we use videos, so you can play through all these videos at your convenience. You can obviously play things over again, stop, rewind, really watch these things until you firmly grasp these concepts. And when we film these things in studio, we are very thorough to show you exactly how to set up all the nitty-gritty details of routing. This is an example of how to get audio from an X32 or M32 into Ableton, and then back to the console, and then to your streaming software. And we got a lesson on syncing audio and video for your live stream. And when we get to the template walkthrough lessons, you'll go to the materials tab, and then you'll see links where you can download the Ableton Live project files. So again, with Enrollment, instant lifetime access to version 1.0, access to version 2.0 released weekly here from October through December in 2021. You'll get team access. You'll get access to our Ableton Live broadcast mix templates that you'll be able to download and open up within Ableton. And then you'll get a 60% discount that expires on Friday, October 8th at midnight. So you know what to do now. If you want to take advantage of the massive discount, if you want to hop in this course before we make the 2.0 upgrades, just go ahead and click the link below this video where you can learn more about the course, and then click the Buy Now button and you can sign up today. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see you on the inside of the training.